And we are back here on RSN Trackside. Glad to have on the show now the driver of the number 51 Rick Ware Racing Automobile in the NASCAR Cup Series, as well as the NASCAR Pro Invitational iRacing Series. Garrett Smithley now joins us on the phone. Garrett, how are you, man? Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk some racing with you.
All right, so first off, I think this is going to be a question you've probably heard from a lot of people. So, a few weeks ago, would you ever expect to be spending your Sundays by running a NASCAR Drivers Only Invitational Series on iRacing instead of the real track?
No, not at all. It's been quite crazy in that sense. I went down to Atlanta, did some media stuff and did some interviews because that's one of my home tracks, and never thought that I'd be coming back home on Saturday morning to get ready to run on Sundays for the next 3 weeks on iRacing, and then now doing it for the foreseeable future until we get back going. So it's been quite a ride, but it's been a lot of fun, and we've been trying to make the best of it.
I think you pretty much just summed it up for us, but what's the experience been like on the simulator now these past few weeks?
It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun getting to run with these guys and getting to teach some of them. I mean, a lot of them haven't really done a whole lot of iRacing, if any at all, until we started doing this deal. So it's been exciting to see the growth. It's been cool to see all the viewership, all the people that are tuning in, all the people that are getting excited about it, and it's just an opportunity for us to kind of showcase what we can do. On a weekly basis, even if it's just virtual. It's been a lot of fun kind of navigating that and seeing all the new support. So that's been a lot of fun, and it's been cool to see everybody kind of take it a little bit more seriously each week. So obviously, Homestead was kind of a wild card. We didn't really know how it was going to go, and I think it was a huge success. And I think the more and more we do these things, the more people are going to get serious about it. The more drivers are going to take it seriously, and we're all competitors, so we all want to beat the heck out of each other. So we're trying our best to do that.
So your setup is definitely unique. I've seen it on your Twitter page, seen it on Twitch as well. It's not like one of those motion, high expensive rigs that those higher named drivers have. You've got a Logitech G27 wheel and pedal set, kind of like what Timmy Hill has. Triple monitor setup, I believe as well. You've got a gaming PC in the background. Does this show you that anyone, whether they're on a budget or not, can get into iRacing?
Yeah, absolutely. The point of entry, I guess you would say, is relatively low as far as budget goes. People can go and get into a real car and buy a real car, 500,000 bucks if you want to go run mini stocks or whatever at your local short track. But what other you know I guess game or simulation gives you the opportunity to go race with us. I mean, you can get in there, get your wheel and pedals. I mean, my wheel probably brand new when it first came out, when they were still making them. That's the funny thing. Logitech doesn't even make the G27 anymore, and I've just kept it. I love it, and it was about a $250 wheel. You can probably get a computer for about 500-600 bucks that will run iRacing, and then the service is a subscription service that's relatively cheap as well. And then once you have all that stuff, then you have it. You can race as much or as little as you want, and it's anywhere from street stocks, legend cars. Legend cars is where I started, so you can race all the way from legend cars all the way up to cup cars, and then on the road course side, you can run Indy cars. You can run prototypes. You can run sports car stuff, and then brand new kind of in the last few months we've had dirt races, so you can run World of Outlaw stuff, sprint cars, and then even off-road trucks and doing some jumps. So it's really cool to see what has happened with the service and how it's grown. And I think after our first race, I think they grew by 4 or 5,000 brand new members, and it's cool to see everybody getting involved in it.
iRacing as well. Pretty much this past weekend, as we're recording this, as well as the Homestead race, top two most viewed programs right now on esports. Does it really show that, like, right now where we are at, that esports is the time to shine at the moment?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's what can fill the void. I mean, our country in general is such a sports-based country. We love our sports. It's our escape from things, for the lack of a better term. And now I think this is a great escape for everybody to kind of get away from everything that's going on. And motorsports in general has this opportunity that other sports don't have. Unfortunately for them, you can't simulate throwing a football, you can't simulate throwing a baseball, you can't simulate that kind of thing. And with us, we have our wheel and pedals and shifters and the broadcast, and I'm just so excited to see everybody kind of pitch in together and put this thing together with Fox and NASCAR and iRacing and really go all in on it. I'm excited to see where it started, and I'm excited to see where it goes for sure.
Talking with Garrett Smithley right now, driver of the 51 in the NASCAR Cup Series and a NASCAR iRacing Pro Invitational. So, Garrett, I want to know, how much prep are you putting into the iRacing Invitational per week, and compare it to the prep you do on the iRacing simulator before a real race?
There's a whole lot more prep that I'm putting into these iRacing races than real races. I'll tell you what. Not to take anything away from what I'm doing on the real side, because there still is a lot of prep as far as watching film, studying lap times, studying in-car footage, which I do all those things. But as far as the actual driving part goes, you only have the opportunity every single week to run two 55-minute practice sessions. And then you have one lap of qualifying, and then you're racing. So as far as the time on track, iRacing is unlimited. You have as many cars as you want, you have as many tires as you want, you have resets. If you wreck the car, it doesn't matter. And you can just race, or you can just drive as much as you possibly can. So in the nature of it lends itself to running all these laps. And again, speaking on our competitiveness, we all want to beat each other. We all want to do the best that we can. For me and somebody like Timmy Hill, Landon Castle, this is a huge opportunity for us to shine on a big stage. So, we might take it a little bit more seriously than some of those other guys that have, big top big time rides in the Cup Series. And so for us, we're testing every day. We're getting on there. We're trying to increase, hundredths of a second. I know Landon was on stream last night just trying to get just a hundredth of a second, 200th of a second, and he spent like 250 laps trying to do that. So there's quite a bit of prep in it, and it's cool to see also some of the bigger guys that are in here doing more and more and more laps and doing more and more testing. I think you're going to see the gap continue to close, because at the end of the day, we're all racers, and racers figure out how to go fast, whether it's a video game, whether it's a cup car, whether it's a go-kart, whether it's a shopping cart in the grocery store. We all want to see how fast we can go.
I think Timmy Hill, Ryan Preece, Landon Castle would probably see the same thing you're saying as well on this next question. But the huge positive I see out of the entire camp, you guys are getting more TV time and attention, and I believe it's more than you guys usually get at the super speedway races at Daytona or Talladega. So whether it's you, Rick Ware Racing, or your sponsors as well, how big is this for you guys as a whole to get some attention out there?
Yeah, it's really big. I mean, it doesn't just stem from the TV stuff and running up front, which is great, but it stems from all the stuff that trickle in afterwards, all the media stuff, all the interviews, podcasts, and different things like that. It all goes into growing a brand and growing who you are and promoting your, not only myself, my race team, but my sponsors. And at the end of the day, everybody knows that racing is a sponsor driven sport, so we want to get the absolute best that we can for them. And that means that if that means that we can go through these iRaces and bring some more attention to Rick Ware, bring some more attention to myself and my sponsors, then it's a really, really good thing. So we're going to continue to try to ride that wave. We're selling e-sponsors as we speak, just trying to do all we can with that, which I never thought that I'd be doing that, but that's kind of the sign of the times. And I really hope, I think we may have hit on something a little bit. Obviously, There's not anything else going on, so there's a lot of people watching right now. But I do think that there is an opportunity and a possibility to continue this in some capacity even after we go back real racing. So I'm excited to see that too.
I do want to talk about real racing as well in just a moment, but this is probably right now my final iRacing question I have for you. But as we are recording, Bristol, it's the next race, and based on, I know these guys don't have as much experience as you guys do behind the wheel of a real race car from what I saw in the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series last night. This race Sunday may be the most craziest we have on the Pro Invitational. Will we likely see NASCAR and iRacing put in probably some more virtual resets?
It's hard to tell. For me personally, I hope not, because I think I have a knack for staying out of trouble. But anything can happen in Bristol. I definitely watched the iRacing Coca-Cola series last night, and it was pretty wild. I do know that they have announced that they're going to do a heat race format. So I think there's going to be 2 heat races to set the field, and it's only going to be Cup drivers and former Cup drivers in the series. So that's pretty exciting. I think that makes it a little bit bigger. Saturday, I think they're going to do kind of an ARCA style race, short track race at Bristol with all the Xfinity, the truck, the ARCA drivers, anybody that kind of want to go in there. So that'll be interesting to see. But hopefully the heat races kind of break up things a little bit and kind of give people an opportunity to kind of see how the race is going to go and kind of settle down a little bit before the feature. But I'm excited to see it. I think you're going to see a lot closer. Like I said, I think that the times are going to be a lot closer, but the racing craft is going to be what sets guys apart from the guys that have more iRacing experience than the guys that don't.
Must be glad for you to get to be having more Cup races than you usually do in the past year, to be racing on Sunday afternoon in the big race.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, obviously as a race car driver, you aspire to get to the top level, and for us that's the Cup Series. 2018 was my first foray into the Cup Series, and I've been with JD Motorsports on the Xfinity side since 2016. So this is definitely a change to go Cup racing. I've run all the Cup races this year except for the Daytona 500, and we have plenty more scheduled. It's kind of open-ended right now. It just kind of depends on what we can do as far as sponsors go, and it's the opportunity with the team, and obviously they have to make sure that they're doing the best thing for them. But it's been a really great partnership so far. My relationship with Rick Ware goes way back before I even started in NASCAR. He helped me get into truck with Mike Mittler for my first Truck Series race, and now it's just kind of come full circle, and now I'm racing for him in the Cup Series. So it's cool to see his growth. I'm excited to see what Rick Ware Racing does in the future as far as the next gen car coming out. I think that's a huge opportunity for somebody like Rick to improve his team, and I'm just happy to be a part of his team and can hopefully to continue that relationship for years to come.
Wrapping up our conversation with Garrett Smithley right now. Garrett, I got 2 more questions for you here. So first off, when we get back into racing season, what race or races are you looking forward to most on the calendar?
Yeah, I think the super speedways are opportunity races for me. Michigan's a huge race for me. Our sponsor, Victory Lane, that's where they're based. So Michigan's a big race for us. Texas, I hate that our first Texas race was postponed because that's another big race for our sponsors, Trophy Tractor. So those two races are big for me. And then I really enjoy the road courses. So I hope that I can put a deal together to run at least one, if not all, of the road courses in the Cup Series. I really enjoy those. And just really, honestly, at this point, any racetrack in a real car, that's what I'm looking forward to for the most part. So whatever racetrack we can get back to and start real racing, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Garrett, final question for you, and this actually does go back to iRacing. You're first off talking with the guy that's just getting into iRacing. I got the wheel back here, ready to go. You got a lot of fans out there that are probably looking into purchasing an iRacing subscription, wanting to get out there on the virtual track. What advice would you give them when they begin their iRacing careers?
Yeah, I think just have fun. I mean, it's a fun thing. People get on there and get too serious, and I was included in that when I wasn't real racing at all, and I was just iRacing all the time. I took it a little bit too seriously for the most part, and once I got back to having some fun and realizing, hey, this is just it is a simulation, but at the end of the day, it is just a game. It's just for fun, and that's the biggest thing that I would say. Also, do your research on your wheel and put settings in your wheel, and make sure that you really like your wheel, and don't try to settle for something, because I've had a couple opportunities to have some different wheels, and I tried them out, and I didn't like the feel of it. So just because something's new, fresh, doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. So definitely, kind of test out your equipment, make sure you like it, but biggest thing is just have fun on there.
Well, Garrett, we definitely appreciate the time having you come on the show today. Stay safe, stay healthy with everything that's going on. Best of luck to you Sunday. Hoping racing season comes back to normal soon.
Yep, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.